Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new edition of the Joshua Files podcast. This one is a very, very special session. The reason is this is my first ever 2-to-1 podcast interview session where I'm not going to get interviewed by these two lovely individuals, but I'm interviewing them. So this will be a very interesting to see how long this is going to be, because everybody's going to have their own answer. Some of it might be the same, some might be separate. So we'll see how it goes. And I might have some not just joint questions, but also some separate ones. Almost. But yes, so I am here with two lovely gentlemen that I have known for the past, I would like to say 7 years, perhaps.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Roughly like 7 to 8 years. So I've known these two gentlemen for those many years, and they're both from PyCan. I've got one from bassist position, that's Christopher Ryan, who also does exquisite savagery on bass as well. But whether that's been active or not, we will go with that topic later. But he also works with the UK Slam Fest along with Joe Mortimer as well, and the other crew. And the other side of the musician position is the guitarist position, where I know him for a while as well. His name is Mike McLavin. He does play guitar on High Cannon only, unless he's got any other projects. We don't know. I don't know anything. Then he can tell me about it later. But he is endorsed by the Overseas Guitars company, which is absolutely amazing company. I do recommend for anybody that wants to get a new guitar. Hit them up and they'll probably give you endorsement, but you might have to prove yourself worthy before you do anything.
Gentlemen, yeah, Mike, you're just endorsing anybody.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, Mike's just the easy pitching, But hey, that's the only way it works.
A fat ginger Scotsman on the lineup, so that's how I got the position.
Oh, that's probably what it was then. Who knows? Gentlemen, how are you two tonight? It's been a pleasure seeing you two, and it's been a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. Not doing bad. It's good to see people, even if it's over video screen. Good to see you again.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely been a while.
Thanks a lot for having us, man. It's very kind of you.
It's absolutely a pleasure, considering that, as I said, I've known you both for many, many years, and I wanted to get you both in. But it was at one point, I don't know who it was first. I think it was Chris was saying, oh, we need to get Mike in it as well. And, try and make it like a co-join. I was like, my thing was like, I do only 1-to-1s, but 2-to-1s is not like a huge issue. Sometimes it could be like, one person's supposed to say something and the other one just interrupts, And I like to have that 1-to-1 flow, but I make exception, and I like to make this a personal exception because you two are a very, very favorite people of my life.
Oh,
don't be so kind or flattering.
I love to be kind,
Yeah, don't deserve it.
Oh, right. Well, you're pricks then. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Yeah, abusers.
Be honest with the people who are listening to this.
Just like both of your dads are fucking pricks as well. So shout out to your dads as well.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, shot fired already. Right.
The same dad.
Well, if it was the same dad, then this would be a very interesting scenario, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be some weird revelations coming out in this.
Oh, Jesus. Right, guys. So what's been going on with you two lately since, this whole situation is going out of our lives and we can't go to music events or, just can't really casually meet other people? I'm sure you both have been working at homes and, trying to stay active as much as possible. I'm sure you both have been trying to mentally stay happy as well. I'm sure it must be tough for you both.
Absolutely. I'll go first.
Yes.
Fine.
Yeah.
I think Mike's story is probably more interesting than mine.
I mean, there's not a lot to tell. You know it yourself, man. Like, everything's closed. No one's allowed out to play. There's nothing. I don't want to say there's nothing to do, but even the concept of band practice has dissipated. Like, we haven't jammed together since February as a band.
Yeah, maybe. It's been at least 9 weeks. So
yeah, so we've been working on music together but separately. So as a band, writing, learning, kind of chopping and changing, discussing, processing, trying to find ways to demo stuff and get things back and forth. And it's been pretty productive so far, even though we haven't seen each other in the flesh. But we've all been practicing at home. Stoney's been writing some new vocals for upcoming tracks, which is nice.
Cool.
We were talking to him about it the other day, actually, which is quite good. He's kind of not trying a new approach, but he's trying to do something a wee bit more fresh for his next stuff and wanting to evolve.
Yep.
From himself, like for his own reasons, not because anyone else thinks that
Yep.
he should, but
Absolutely.
just want to explore his artistic abilities, which is cool. Yeah, that's really been about it, with a view that once we get back in the studio and start practicing together, we've basically got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 songs that we can just really get tight together and then record for
Good.
the newest album,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
not
So we're
anywhere
hoping.
near completion.
We're hoping once Volgan's over, we can practice again. It will be kind of near completion. Well, we'll just go in, jam from these songs, but you get right. This doesn't sound as good with like, people and stuff, so we'll just change it. But we're hoping to have made a lot of progress by the time it happens. So it's not like we're starting from zero when we go back.
Yeah. So it's all about challenge, you know, and obviously through these times, it's just going to be a tough situation and it's going to be a tough challenge for everybody, not just like you guys. There's also the other bands that are wanting to make new music, but they haven't had the limited opportunities to actually go through to do band sessions like you guys just like Mike just mentioned, that you guys haven't really done the session maybe just since beginning of this year, and nobody would have known that this COVID-19 was going to be so serious where people could have to stay at home, and especially if people are working in the office, they have to stay at home as well instead of traveling and go to their building departments and try to work there, where low-key workers like myself have to go and actually still do my job and still actually have to do what I've got to do by putting food on the other people's tables, and which is fine. You know, I've got nothing to criticize about that, but I would have loved to stay at home from time to time and actually recuperate much as possible as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
I bet, man, like things are wild at the moment. As you were saying, like think about how hard it is to socially distance and then you're working in a convenience store, a supermarket like that.
Yeah.
That's difficult, and my heart goes out to all key workers.
Yeah.
I left a previous job in February, and in the meantime, between leaving that job and starting this newer one that I've been training for, I did a week or so's agency work, working for a Alliance Healthcare who deliver pharmaceuticals to like Boots and chemists and stuff. And the chemists were probably the worst place I've seen for people just ignoring social distancing and being
absolutely
stupid.
Yeah.
So supermarkets aren't far behind that, so I totally understand where you're coming from as a key worker, being like, I need to get a break away for this for a bit. I was lucky I only did that temp work for a week or so, but you're bang on.
Yeah, I mean, I know that every key worker are just going to be struggling regardless. Like, it's not just me that's just going to struggle. There's other colleagues that I work with, they would be struggling as well. Some of them would have their share of abuse, and some of them had much more abuse than like myself, who fortunately they do night shifts from time to time, and then I do 2 morning shifts for the week, and then that's it. I just go back to night shifts. So I don't really get much, how can I put it this way, the atmosphere and the tension from like in the morning shifts compared to other colleagues, you know.
I'm sure morning's like the worst for it, right?
Absolutely. And like first thing in the morning, bang through, people are just going to go through the store and just get what they need, whether they're key workers, whether they actually go back to work, or people that actually need to put food on the table with their families. People that got kids, they'll have to, you know, take their kids into to the supermarket. They can't leave them outside, just like the other reasons and stuff. So there is a list of people that do come in through the supermarkets, and it is tough times. But I'm not saying that our country is in the worst position. There are, let's just say America is in the worst position right this time, you know, and it's not fantastic of what's going over there, but I know that we've got our own issues, and we all have to deal with the issues that we got in front of us, wherever, how long it's going to be. And yeah, it's not great, you know, and I would love things to go back to normal, especially with music degree, because like I know you guys will probably had a couple of shows coming through this year whether it is festivals or whether it is
Oh,
one-off
man.
shows.
Yeah. American tours, European
Yeah.
tours,
That's
fucking
it,
headlining
yeah.
festivals.
Oh my days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think the bigger
I think.
picture, though.
Oh man, it's so bad because there's cancellation after cancellation after cancellation, or reschedule after reschedule, or postponed after postponed, and it's really sad to see it because the places that we like to go and socialize with people, it's like we've been told not to go, or it's too risky, or it's been cancelled because through these situations. So really, guys, in your opinion, because with all these shows, you know, they can't happen until, let's just say, next year. Is there going to be a possibility where there is going to be restrictions on the shows that are going to happen? Because the way I see it, if shows do come back like more sooner than later, there is going to be restrictions, and that means there's going to be a less amount of fans that are going to be actually want to go to shows, because it means not much is going to happen with financial reasons, because you guys are going to cripple with financial, no income, especially if you're going to be in a package of with bands, and so the tour package income is going to suffer as well. The promotion is going to suffer with income. The what's it called? The label companies are going to suffer as well. So, you know, I don't know how you both feel about it, considering this might not come back to normal until maybe the end of next year, for example.
I think the government have got a lot to answer for in terms of support for self-employed workers, people who are working in the entertainment industry, promoters, venue owners, all of these things. But Chris slamming his glass down there as if
With
he was
frustration.
outraged.
Oh, really? Was that long? Oh.
It's all
But
right.
I don't know. Like, I think without sounding like I'm being a contrarian or nasty, like obviously people have their own responsibilities for their own finances, but at the same time, nobody has been planning for COVID. You know what I mean? It's not as if it was ever on anyone's radar. And I think it's just as important that people who are in the music scene, either as bands or working behind the scenes or front of house guys that do the sound at venues, or venue owners or bar staff, or people that repair or maintain or sell backline equipment, all that kind of stuff, versus the people that go to shows, that we find a way to look after each other. And I don't mean that as in like just necessarily for venues to be getting money for nothing, etc. Like, there's a lot of bands who have suffered financial hardships in the past and maybe offered, like, this happened, I don't know, for example, the tour bus get broke into and we lost equipment. We're going to sell off these. If you donate X amount, we'll do a video for you, and we'll send you some handwritten lyrics, or like something that's like an original bit of merchandise that nobody else has got. Like, there are ways to produce revenue.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of bands are going to have to get not smarter about it, but a lot more business minded about it. In terms of like party cannon income wise, obviously we've lost out from not being able to play shows because we had 4 days in Europe, including headlining a festival, and then with the US tour, which was in plans. So that's money lost at the end of it. But also, we've not spent the money on like sorting flights and stuff at the moment just yet as well. So there's every chance that we can make the money up that we haven't made this year next year and not have made a loss. That's something Chris is probably better talking about.
It's more like I kind of see it as potential earnings lost, really. But at the end of the day, right, we don't really live with the bands. So it's not like a massive issue for us. It's not like there are people in way worse situations than us, but just going from like financial points, we just think different ways, like trying to sell merch we have at the moment. We did some licensing with Brutal Mind, so that's like merch we don't have to front ourselves. Then we can just sell off just pure profit. So things like that, just different ways to get merch out to people. Qualities, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with both of you. There is meaningful ways to actually make a bit more income, whether it is a large one or a small income. We all know that this is going to be for a bit of a long term, and considering we don't know how long this is going to last for. So the best way for bands or musicians are going to try and do is try and make revenue by doing things online, whether it is like guest vocals or guest guitar solos, whether it's like writing lyrics, like Mike just said, or maybe just do artwork for like the albums, or maybe just put yourself in the position where you have to speak to like distribution companies to actually make merchandise, and then try and get a bit of profit from there as well. Whether it is like studio mixing, like some companies or some specific musicians are doing as well to earn the free time. There is definitely multiple ways to do it. But I know there was an offer as well on Bandcamp where once per month, they would just do an idea where 100% of the profit goes to the bands directly online. Bandcamp, I do appreciate Bandcamp doing all the work for that, because that means so much how there's a bigger picture on Bandcamp that caring about the artists than Spotify, where Spotify is a streaming media company and they don't give much revenue to the bands, because most of it is going to be like, let's say, for approximately 0.0005% of income. So
it's less than a penny per track per stream anyway.
Oh,
exactly.
Way less than a penny.
Yeah.
Way less than a penny.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous. But whether on Bandcamp, if you pay a purchase of, with this once per month scheme, let's say £10, then the £10 go to you guys, and that makes a big step of persuasive idea of revenue income, and it's fantastic,
Yeah,
it's
good support bands directly.
Yeah,
like even I just streams, like even I just buy CDs that I stream all the time anyway. Like if I stream an album and I really like it, I'll still just buy the CD because I like having the CD and I know the money goes there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, I know when you guys do shows, for example, merch is always one of the best incomes for bands when they need something absolutely. As well. And yeah, fucking take my money, for example, and that just
I think you've funded most of our exploits as bands.
It's like, I know this guy, so fuck it.
Yeah.
But the main thing is definitely the people who are going to be in bands or as individual fans that not too aware of what the situation is or what they need to do with supporting the bands. Best thing to do is definitely do a little bit of research, thinking about how much profit our companies are going to give to the bands when it comes to like digital media platforms, and actually purchasing the digital media content, and whether it helps musicians as well by online sessions. And there's bands, musicians that do offer a lot of stuff like that, and they don't ask you for amounts of money. It's just, if you can spend that £20 to learn something or get an artist to do your artwork, that means a lot more than helping Spotify to get the purpose that they need by, I don't know how they do it. Basically, it's just a monthly scheme or a year scheme, and then that goes straight to Spotify. Yes, you listen to all the music and the podcast and all the content or whatever for free. After that, you purchase the content, but literally that the contribution does not go towards the bands or the podcast companies or whatever. It just goes straight to the company, which is the corporation company, which is Spotify.
Yeah, it's like a third party. It's like a middleman.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually all I like to do is if I'm going to buy something from a band, like for example, I was going to order some from Stillbirth the other day. I know you're saying the Unique Leader now, and the Unique Leader were handling our pre-orders. So I mentioned to Lucas, being like, right, if I order from Unique Leader, the bundle and stuff, is it better if I order it straight from you guys when you have your own stuff, or does it make a difference? Like, do you still get the same amount of cut each way? So, I mean, the only thing, something or two is just like message the band and ask them what is best for them. Because it's always good to like order from label and stuff if that's more convenient for you, I guess. But that might not be the most profitable way. Because I know if people order from our label and if they order from us, it's better if they order just straight from us. Like, money goes direct to us. Whereas the label, just when the deal has, the label will keep what they sell.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's always good to have that connection as well. So basically, if like we was in the tour package, best way to do it is actually support the band by when you do tour packaging and actually purchasing merch in that way as well. Because that way you're not actually doing anything online. You're actually doing things to help bands support each other in that way as well. And
yeah,
that's always a good
absolutely.
thing, you know. So it's always good to
Definitely.
have mutual friend connection, definitely, you know.
Mhm.
But let's just touch on a little bit how you know, you guys come into play with being pie cannon. I know there was a little story about that when Chris got interviewed a while back of what pie cannon was or how it actually involved. Firstly, how did pie cannon actually even exist? It must have been sometime when, I think if I remember correctly, Chris made a joke about it and it's like blah 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 blah, you know.
Yeah, no, I think this is 10 years I've been in the band now. So
Mhm.
about 10 years ago, probably even like earlier than that, the original lineup was me, Stoney, Craig, who were all obviously still in the band, and original guitar player Jack. We all kind of lived close to each other, but played in like different bands. So Jack and Craig played in this like kind of thrash band called Lycanthropy, I think. They changed
Okay.
their name a bunch of times. And I played like a melodic kind of tech band called Psychoanalysis. And it's all fine. You're kind of like just like your average like, local band. Didn't really do too much. But just talking to those guys, it was quite clear that we always wanted to play like real death metal. So just
Mhm.
talking to them and getting Stone on board, it kind of evolved into that's like, great. We're both kind of
Yeah.
not enjoying the bands we're doing at the moment. We all want to play like Dying Fetus and Devourment type stuff and not like Black Dahlia Murder or Sodom type things. That stuff's like cool, but it's not like what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So just things like that just kind of evolved. Like I remember Jack sending me some stuff he had on Guitar Pro, just kind of casually, like, I wrote this, what do you think? And I was sending him my stuff, like, cool. Then I'm like, actually, if we wanted to, we could probably start a band. We've got enough material here.
Mm.
So we went and did a few things like a drum machine. The drummer from Jack and Craig's band, a guy called Neil, he like left the band as well, like the fresh band they were doing.
Sure.
So we just got him on board and kind of snowballed from there. It's kind of weird that like all five of us kind of live within like a street away from each other. So it just seems a bit weird that in Dunfermline, in like the kind of one area, there would be like a death metal band and all just kind of lived there, just coincidentally. But it's kind of from there, so got together, wrote some songs, had all stuff we liked in it, and kind of went from there, to be honest. Had some member changes, quite a lot of member changes.
One or two.
Yeah, just a few, and yeah, just here we are. We got kicked Neil out twice, and Jack left, so we got Mike and Martin to replace him. Yeah, so
they kicked you out twice. That's very interesting. That's a little something.
I know we kicked our old drummer out twice because he just kept like bailing. Yeah, like there's a whole like thing to this, like wake up in the morning from a gig and he just like texts me like I'm not playing the gig.
Wow. For
X reason, or like I'm not coming to practice. I like message me on like a Monday, then like join a jam on Saturday. So I was like a whole 5 days notice. We messaged me on Friday night being, oh, I can't jam tomorrow. I was like, something like that. Then when we did jam, he wouldn't know the songs. We'd fuck up live and stuff. He'd like bitch about driving to England and things like that. Yeah, it wasn't good. Like we eventually got this gig in Malta. It was like our first European gig. And he didn't want to go because he's scared he gets sunburned. I'm like, fucking hell. Like I'm like putting so much effort into this band. And he's just like pissing it out. Like, oh, getting in a car is too difficult. Fucking just return it. So, but no, it was a kind of pivotal moment where we had like a UK tour booked and like European gigs. We're going to do his recordings. Like we had it all mapped out. Like we sat down and we all made a plan. And he just kind of was like flip flopping about. So I like met the other guys and went, right, my other band, Ignitus Saturday, has a really good drummer called Ewan. He says he'll fill in for these gigs just so we can do them, and he'll do a recording. And there was that point where it when we kind of realized there's like a potential. Like when he came in the band, everything sounded so much better. When we played these gigs, people were into it. We released like a recording with him on it, and we just kind of realizing the potential is there, and we've been held back by like one member. So, kind of thing.
Well, that's interesting. So, Mike, how did you get involved to actually be their guitarist?
Good luck or bad luck, somebody else can decide. I'm quite happy with it, but
for better or worse,
has to put up with me and more or less seeing me naked at some point as well. In public.
Oh yeah,
not good for MD. Anyway, 2013.
Yeah, it would have been 2013. I messaged you.
Yeah,
4 gigs in 2014 because the tour we did was in January.
That's right.
Where you made to fill in for.
So we we had played gigs together. I was playing bass for a band called Agonized Deformity. So
Okay.
just that same idea as what Chris is talking about with the early iteration of Party Cannon. It was like people who were keen until it came to actually planning stuff. I didn't drive at the time, and I wasn't really in any position to do any meaningful planning, but it just seemed to be that like real life got in the way, and it was good fun. It wasn't meant to be like as far as I can remember, big aspirations to go and play across the world or whatever, but just have fun, write tunes and see what happens. Anyway, we'd played a few gigs together, blah blah blah, and Chris asked me 2013 would have been about July, August maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe around then.
We've got some shows in January 2014. It's a 3-day tour, which was Dumfries in Scotland, and then Germany, and then Belgium over 3 days. So quite a lot of travel.
The finest tour planning there.
Absolutely top notch. Anyway, I need to be really careful. I keep doing this and then forgetting that people associate that with like wolf whistles. So no. Anyway, Chris asked me, "Do you want to do this?" Like, aye, that sounds really cool. Sent me the tabs. We jammed a few times in my old flat. Chris and Craig came through with like practice amps, and I had a wee practice amp, and it was like 3 grown men with tiny amps buzzing in a bedroom playing indecipherable riffs. But it worked out. We went to Dumfries. We played, did 2 sets. I played with Agonized Deformity that night as well. And then we went away, and just I got to know the guys a lot better over that tour. I had known them a little bit. You guys borrowed my amp as well before, didn't you?
Yeah, I remember. Our old guitar player Jack. I was really getting on him to buy a guitar head, like one that was like usable line. And right, Jack, for this tour, you need to sort like a guitar head. I'm not going to do it for you because at that point in time, I was like sorting so much stuff for everybody. So just kind of put it on Facebook, being like, "Does anyone have a guitar head?" And Mike got in touch, and that's kind of where it stemmed from. Like, oh, Mike has good gear and he's good at playing guitar. I'll keep this in mind for future things.
Scheming.
Keep it like a notepad, you know. Like Mike and Lavin does this, does that, you know.
I know. The real reason I asked
pros and cons of being friends with Mike.
The real reason I asked Mike to do the band though was I saw Agonized Deformity play in Edinburgh. I think it was El McGuigan that put on the gig. It was part of like an Edinburgh Rock Society thing. And they played The Great Southern Trendkill by Pantera, but Mike played guitar on it. And I didn't realize he played guitar at this point. And he did the solo and stuff. And my exact thought process was, you can play all those notes up there, you can play them down there. They could probably be in the band. And, all right, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Like, wait a minute. There's something happening here.
I love it. That's so good. So we went on tour. I had a great time getting to know the guys, talking shit. Just, I thought it was like a one-off lifetime experience. Just that I'll never get to do this again. That was really cool. In conversation over the weekend, just was like, I was asking like, what's happening with Jack? Do you know if he's going to want to come back to the band? Is he just taking a bit of time off or whatever? And the guys were really respectful, saying, we don't know, we need to speak to him when we go back. And I put it forward just saying, like, I've had a blast. This seems like something I would like to do long term. If he's interested, obviously you need to go back and speak to Jack and work out between yourselves what's going to happen. I'm not getting involved. That wouldn't be my place. But if the position's there, consider me interested. So we came home for the tour, and a few weeks later, that was kind of what the conversation went, was you guys had spoken to Jack. He wasn't really wanting to come back to the band at that point. And then we just started jamming, and that's when things kind of locked in. And Martin hadn't long joined the band before that either. And it just went for there, really.
That's really cool. Really
pretty
cool
fucking
stuff.
cool. Good times.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's great. It's weird. Like as soon as 2014 hit, and we got like new members, that's when like Party and a Half stuff had just come out, like our first like proper release. As soon as we got like a solid lineup, the band just kind of like escalated so fast. Like so many gig offers, people seem to be actually into the band. It just like took off so quickly, and I just thought to myself, like, if I just had this lineup like 2 years earlier, I could like be so much further now. But no, it's crazy. It's like I always like, I don't know if I was kind of like romanticizing it in my head in some way, but like I wish I just had a lineup. I would like come to jams and practice and learn the songs. I think on the stuff I could get done. Then it happened, and everything I thought about, it was coming true. I was like, all it took was just people to turn up and learn the songs and just be into it.
Mhm.
A little bit of dedication and went like a long way.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a bit of dedication, but it's just patience as well, because I know for a fact there's many bands that do want all that experience as well, especially want all these new members to actually come in and actually step up with their dedication. And it happens. It does take time, but it's fantastic to see how this has grown. Like, as you said, it's probably been about 10 years since this just happened with the band. So it's a rising step for not just for you as a member, Mike, but also as a rising member for Chris that's been there for the long term. So it's fantastic to see the seed is actually grown into like a big root or something like that, So, so it's fucking awesome.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
That's bad. It's not bad.
It's not too bad. He's just being honest, because I think what people don't discuss very often about being in a band with people that you are friends with, it's very easy to blur those lines and start falling out with each other when,
Yep.
for any number of reasons, right? You're reading messages wrong. I'm the worst for it. Chris will attest to that.
Yeah, we're all pretty bad for it. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, even though, like, Jack in the band, like, Jack's like one of my best friends. You might actually be watching this. So I don't want it to be like it seems like I'm slaying Jack or anything, because I'm not.
No.
But when he like quit the band and left and stuff, at that point there was quite a lot of rising tensions, and we didn't talk for ages. Like, we just weren't friends for ages afterwards. Like, I did not want to see them. I did not have anything to do with them. But we like worked it out, and now we're not in a band together. It's kind of a bit better. We're just like friends, like, so. Yeah, so I feel like being in a band is quite like a intimate thing you do with people, not in like a romantic way, just as your expression of creativity, and to share that with other people and have them be part of it is, it's quite intense in ways.
It can be, yeah. Especially if you've been with like specific people for many years.
Oh, yeah.
It can rise so much tension if things don't go into right ways. But no, as long as you 4 or 5 people have gelled up, it's great to see that it actually can be like, if there's no human error or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure there's some mistakes here and there, but it's not like there's going to be one mistake and there's a huge blown out fight out of it. There's nothing like that by the looks of it. Like, you guys are pretty much are okay to each other. Actually both do dad jokes all the time, and it's just like it's nothing to actually worry about. And
right.
I mean, you got like give and take and stuff, guys. Like, we'd never have a go at each other for like fucking someone up on stage unless it was like ridiculous. Like, say someone turned up like absolutely fucking hammered and fucked the set. That'd be something you'd like talk to them about. But if someone plays like a drum fill, plays like the wrong riff or something, like, fuck, it's live death metal. What do you expect?
Yep.
And that's part of the fun of it as well. Like, we could go down the route of spending years learning the songs and polishing it to the point where they're like almost like a necrophagist album. It's like so perfect it sounds like MIDI, but you lose a lot of the humanity in that, I think.
Yeah. And
I think having it where it's raw and real but still sounds good is a good mix, and that's kind of what we go for. And I always think to myself that when we're up on stage, it's not so much just about what you're playing, it's a performance. If you're out and you miss 1 or 2 notes, or you play the wrong chord randomly somewhere or whatever, like, people that are there, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Josh, you've been in the crowd for as many a time, like, people that are there aren't watching for you making mistakes, they're there for the atmosphere, the fun, the energy, the madness of the fast bits, and then the release and the brutality of the slams. I can't think of a better word, just like that tension release in the music, that energy, that's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah,
I think a lot of people probably are the same.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. I can agree on that. You've got to have that energy to actually have fun with the shows, and this kind of can tie into the next topic, really. Considering shows, I saw an article, and this is like ages ago now, on, it's all ridiculous, but if shows did happen, like Chris mentioned before this was recorded, like the next year, beginning next year or the end of this year, is there a possibility that there is going to be restrictions? And if there was restrictions, do you really think that's going to draw out the energy so badly that shows are likely going to be like, no, we can't play it because same atmosphere, the same energy. It's not going to bring it at all. And we rather just wait and see until everything is back to normal, and then we're going to have the same energy again, the same atmosphere again. No capacity can be cut in half. Nobody has to stay in their own 2-meter box against like, other people, you know. And all people are going to have to do is just cross their arms like they normally do in deathmatch shows.
I know. Like my whole view is it depends on what cap the restriction applies to, because deathmatch shows are quite small in general. So if at the moment in Germany, I think like venues are starting to open up again. As far as I know, I might be wrong.
Yep.
So venues are starting to open up again, and like events over like 500 people that are being subject to restrictions. So I can't remember the last time I went to like a Pro Deathmatch gig in the UK that had over 500 people in it. But even then, like if we say it was absolutely worst case scenario, everyone had to stand 2 meters apart from each other, and you go only like 4 people in, I think people still go. Like people still just be hyped to go. I mean, not everybody that goes to a gig wants to like crowd surf and stuff. I mean, also I think gigs are better when people are into it, but it's done by like people just like headbang and stuff, and I'd still be happy to play to people who are there and are hyped about the band. They can still be hyped about a band and not be like moshing and stuff. So, I mean, if it came to it, like we'd still play. Like, and if people came out, like, obviously it's their preference and stuff. But I think people are starved of gigs at the moment and are kind of realizing how well off they had it at the moment. That even if there was restrictions, they still go to it.
I think Wayne's World comes in here. If you book them, they will come.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying though, Josh. Like, there obviously is a concern that a lot of people are going to be worried they're not going to get into the venue, so not travel or turn up or whatever. And I think there's a simple solution to that, and it is that with event pages, people just pay attention.
Yeah. Buy your ticket in advance. That's the easy thing.
Oh yeah,
Just
absolutely.
you can't buy a ticket in the door. You need to buy in advance. Exactly. Then you can count the tickets, number the tickets, and track who's going.
Yeah. Maybe restrictions like that. Maybe it'll be you can only come in if you have a pre-booked ticket. Things like that.
That would
I think that's
just give you an idea of numbers and stuff, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Josh.
Yeah, no, I do agree though. The only issue is just going to be like, for example, on the article, let's just say the capacity is about, I don't know, what's the Black Heart? Let's just say it's 200, right? So the capacity of Black Heart.
Yeah, I think it is 200 to be honest.
Probably it is. So I'm bound on.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
200,
I've been there a million times.
Hey, I know, right? It's good to have that knowledge, knowledge. So
knowledge is power. What do you say?
Yeah, so with that knowledge, it's good to get the idea of how many people are going to be going to these shows. So let's just say 200 people are going to be going in. Well, they can't now because it's going to have to be cut down by half or even maybe more than half. Let's just say 60 to 65% of people can't go to these shows. And then the last 35 people can go, including the band and then the bands and then the promoter, just because social distance reasons, right? So that's going to have to eliminate the amount of massive gatherings as well. So with that being said, you're likely to get 70 people in the show. So that means it's kind of like, it's going to be a little bit weird considering 70 people, all of us together are going to be going to that same venue. Yes, there might be a good degree that social distance is going to be cut and the massive gatherings are going to be cut. But that means as the income of the revenue for the band and the promotion is going to suffer. The venue is likely going to suffer as well because they're not going to make business out of the money from the customers that are going to be coming in and out on the evening or the day, whatever the circumstances it may be. So I'm wondering how tough is that going to be if that does happen realistically for a while,
No, I just need a bit of communication between the bands putting on a venue. Like, just need to manage expectations and be realistic about things. Some bands guarantees make a cut, might not, just to see how it goes. I think it depends how they budget it. I think some promoters budget hoping for a sellout, but they budget thinking, right, I think 50 people will come to this and trying to work that kind of number, have an aim there, have a more realistic aim, rather than like, right, I need to sell 100% of tickets, 200 tickets to cover these fees.
It's
See what you did there?
Oh, cheeky.
Since we're talking about Black Heart.
Yeah.
I think with gigs, right, like, maybe it doesn't apply, right, but the way I see it is we have played and travelled quite some distance to play to less people than the numbers you're talking about and still had a great time.
Oh,
So as long as bands aren't out there getting prissy about the fact there might not be a full amount of people at the front for like social distancing reasons or whatever,
Yeah.
and I think gigs will be okay. It's going to take time,
Mm.
and
I
it's
think
going
it
to
definitely
be
will. Yeah.
it's going to be weird. And like going in and like everybody's got their own wee box and the floor of space if that's how they choose to do it. But we'll get back to normal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course we will.
It's temporary. It'll pass.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like, I know the situation. And I know for a fact that I'm not going to go anywhere unless there's a good reason for it. So let's say, for example, everything's back to normal. Yay, open arms and everything. You know, then I'll consider going. But until then, I'm just staying behind closed doors, and I'm actually just sticking to what I've been told to do. You know, and I'm sure many of us that want to be sensible and want to look after each other and, you know, be responsible for our own responsibilities. Like Mike mentioned earlier, we will stick to what we've been told to do, and then that's it, you know, and just let the people that are not doing it, let them just suffer in a way, because selfishly for me saying this, it's like they are not going to see the bigger picture unless it happens to them. So it kind of sucks that I'm saying that in a good way, because
no, that's true.
I'm a nice person. I don't want anybody to suffer, you know, but it's got to happen sometimes.
I guess some people, I'm probably going to include myself in this. Until the lockdown actually happened, I probably didn't take coronavirus as seriously as it should have been. I think it seems so surreal that a first world country like Britain would end up in like lockdown. Like it's a kind of unheard of. Like I can't think of, other than like wartime, I can't think of anything in my life that has been remotely similar to this. So when that was announced, I thought it was just all kind of scare tactics, which is kind of fake news first. I didn't not believe in coronavirus. I just kind of didn't believe it would get to this point. So that's when I kind of went, oh fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
This is actually as serious as it is.
Yeah. And it turned out to be a bit more serious than even we thought, or at least the government treated it like. And with the opportunity to be proactive, they've been reactive, and they're not even being good at that. But I'm not going to get political.
Yeah.
This is about guitars and fun. I just can't help myself, man.
Hey, it's not a bad thing, honestly.
No, it can be. It's the hard thing about speaking about like politics, religion as well. Not that I'm going to talk about it, is it's very divisive. Your opinion can alienate yourself and other people, and it's hard to deal with. I just want the best for everybody. That's what I want.
Oh yeah. We all do, and we just got to do what we've been told to do. I know in America it's kind of like the worst circumstances, and what they're doing is pretty much protesting and just ignoring the rules at the moment, if that makes sense. So it's like, it's a bit confusing of all this happening, and now this has just happened in America, and it's just, I think
for what I've seen from people I know in the States who've been attending rallies and stuff, the way they talk is that the majority of people that are at these things, and again, this is just anecdotal, so it might not be true. Sure. The majority of people that are there are maybe not being great at social distancing, but they're wearing masks and sanitizing, washing their hands.
Yeah, sure.
Being peaceful. It's a peaceful protest. Yeah. And there are people, whether they're involved in the actual demonstrations or they are co-opting or using it as a platform to put something else out there, or if they are agitators, which is a term I've seen people use at the protests, they might not be doing that. I think the sad truth is we'll never know fully whether people are actually being sensible or not. But I mean, it can almost guarantee that you're right in what you say, though. The impact's going to be there for the majority. Or from that, there will be an impact from the people who are doing that.
Yeah.
However, just a final point, talking slightly political on it, I would say the pro-gun Americans who were standing in like county buildings and Congress buildings carrying rifles, not socially distancing with no masks on, literally talking about how social distancing is stupid, are probably responsible for it. And be careful the media don't try and make it out that it's the protesters on the ground. Coronavirus takes 7 to 14 days to show symptoms. It was only about 2 weeks ago these arseholes were walking about brandishing their guns. It's funny how they've all fell quiet. We hold the right to hold this gun in case we end up with a tyrannical government with the military on the street oh, I'm just going to roll the military out the street. Radio silence. Fun. They're arguing they wanted out their fucking bunkers and knew their way back to them.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm done.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not going to get political.
Sorry.
No, I'll kind of like reply for what Mike is saying. I do concede this other side of the point as well. It's kind of like interesting how all this has just happened, and now there's nothing that's been mentioned in America when it comes to this coronavirus situation. Now it's all about protesting, racial reasons.
Yeah, put it this way though, right? People know there's a virus, so they must be pretty fucking angry and pretty hard done by to risk doing that in order to protest.
Absolutely.
So I mean, like, they're obviously not taking it lightly. If they know it's out there, know it's a possibility, and they're still choosing to protest, which is their right to do. Obviously, there's an issue that needs resolved there. I can't really comment too much on it. I'm not in their position or anything, but like, in order for me to risk a virus, I would have to be pretty hard done by. It must be something that affects my life more than a virus.
That's fair, Chris. I like that.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. And I do wonder if we ever get into that point where we're going to be having these protestings, and let's just say if we did, I wonder how serious it was going to be. Because,
well, I mean, like, if you think back in recent history, like in Ireland and stuff, there was massive protests. There's been riots against the police. It's a thing that happens. So it's not unheard of. Like,
it's just when it's going to happen, probably.
The last time we had social revolt in the UK was what the university riots. I think it was like the 70s or something.
Probably, yeah.
I think there's no real social mobility in Britain at the moment. I don't think in terms of people actually standing up and saying, "Well, wait a minute." But
there was like an anti-rally with the anti-virus, but that was in London, and that was probably like a couple of weeks ago. But then nothing else happened after that. Yeah.
And that's
whether that's accurate or not, I don't know.
I'm not sure myself, man. But people have got a right, obviously, to protest.
Yeah.
But choosing your battles is probably a good idea. I can see why people who are out marching in America are choosing to maybe risk for a bigger picture.
Yeah.
But I can't really understand people who are choosing to risk coronavirus because they think that coronavirus is fake, or it's a big plan to keep you in your house. But I'm just speculating.
No, I think for me, I think there's something more to it, but I'm not going to speculate it. I'm just going to stick to what I've been told, and that's it. Even if I think, it's all fake or whatever, I'm not saying it's fake. And if anybody just watches this video thinking it's fake, no, because I've said numerous occasions that I've never said it was fake. It is fucking real. And I've said the previous episodes I've done it, I said it's fucking real. So, yeah, just in case if anybody actually blasts me and saying, "Oh, so you're being a hypocrite." No, I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm actually being honest. And I'm actually being legitimate when I say this is fucking real. And there's people down here in the England section, where I don't know what it's like in Scotland. I will mention that in a minute. In England, it seems to me, when this whole weather seems to be much better, people just go out and just ignore the rules. And I've seen when we have mutual friends or whatever, they mention about how people are posting things on social media saying, "Oh, look what's happening in Dorset, for example. Look what's happening in London." There's places like that. And it makes me wonder, why are we become so fucking numb that we just don't listen to the rules? There's people where I'm living, they're actually fucking socializing. Now, obviously, the law has changed and everything has changed. That's okay. But early in the stage, people were ignoring it, and people still kind of do ignore it. And it's fucking unfortunate,
It's very tough one because, like, you don't know who's all ignoring it or who's all being like, right, I'm going to go out and try and social distance, and you've turned up, and then it's just been like that. Like, oh, fuck. Like, right, I'm here now. It's kind of hard to be like, everyone here is ignoring the rules. I think some people have gone there and be kind of hard done by, but there will be people out there just ignoring the rules.
Yeah.
So you kind of like subcategorize them, but I guess you can't really, unless you fucking survey everybody there, you don't really know what's happening.
No.
But personally, if I went to a park to get like fucking or beach or something, and I saw it was absolutely rammed, I'd just go home. I'm like, fuck this, right?
Yeah. That's happened. That's happened with where I'm living, there's rams of
Yeah.
people just going to the park, having barbecues and stuff. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to work. Fuck everybody and fuck them, in a way.
Like,
Because they just fucking people over. And the people that are actually staying at home, whether it is office work, looking after their children, like Mike does because he's a father, and as I'm going to mention, you both do work at homes. It's like, it's fucking ridiculous how people are going out actually risking not just other people's life, but they're actually ruining the amount of effort that all of us have been trying to do.
Yeah. I
it's
think like
bullshit.
I think the best way, like, or most kind of, I know, charitable way to view things is you can't really grudge people for wanting to go out and treat themselves during lockdown after being stuck inside.
I am going to grudge it because it's
I know,
just
but-
fucking despicable,
Yeah. What I'm saying is you can't grudge people wanting to go out, but you need to use some kind of like fucking decorum. Like, I was saying this to Mike another week, Starbucks drive-thru fucking reopened near my house, and I went, right, I'll go get everyone in my house like a coffee or something. It'll be nice, just because we've been on lockdown.
Yeah.
But if I go there and it's like queued 2 miles out and it's got like a fucking 40-minute wait, I'm not gonna wait in that. I'm not gonna contribute to unnecessary traffic. I'm not gonna fucking ruin the guys at Starbucks day just for this. I'll just go back another time. I'll just accept it's not like a good idea. So I mean, if there's a park near me and there's no one in it, I can go there and sit there and it's all sunny. But if I go there and it's like rammed, it's like, fair enough, today's not my day. I think that's what some people are lacking. You just need to go, today is not my day, I'll come back another time.
Yeah.
Rather than just being like, oh, fuck this, I'm just going to stay with all these other people. Because that is when you're kind of fucking up.
Yeah.
And there's other people out there that are looking at people flaunting the rules that are probably thinking, well, why am I staying in my house and this person can go and do what they want and they don't get in trouble with the police? And it just,
I guess like,
it can
it's a
easily
bit bitter, right?
No, but you're right in what you're saying though, Chris. Like, if I decided I want to go out on the bike, for example, and I went up a cycle somewhere, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to sit for 10 minutes, the weather's nice, but the park was like crowded, I would be like, oh, I'm not going to sit here, I'll sit somewhere else.
Yeah.
If it was quiet, I would sit there. It's just use a bit of common sense, like still follow the guidelines, but the guidelines don't say that you can like be shoulder to shoulder with people. In the same sense, it's not saying that you can't be at the park if there's two other people at the other end of the field. You know what I mean?
It's just that kind of critical thinking some people have kind of fucked there.
That's it. That is it, unfortunately. And
again, to go political, a couple of people who should have known better set bad examples. And we'll leave it at that.
Oh, great. I wonder who's fucking around now, ignoring
Wag your finger it. No.
No,
not him.
I've not been fucking anything enough.
I'm talking about people who are at the forefront of like politics and social life, who are on the news and the media and are influential members of potentially parliament, etc. Right? These hypocritical wanks, doing whatever they want, and then when they get caught, either apologising or doubling down.
Sometimes you think it's all bullshit, which I think it is bullshit.
It can be.
It can be, for sure.
But we're good people and we want to look after each other as well as ourselves. So we're going to stick to the rules and be fucking not stupid.
Yeah. And if anybody watches this and actually goes out and do what you want to do, that's completely fine. We're not digressing there, but it's just stick to the protocol and just try and be safe, because the more safety nets that people stick to, then it's easier for other people to actually not get risked whatsoever. So that's completely fine. Just be sensible. Don't go and risk it like certain countries are at the moment. But we just got to stick what we got to do, like Mike just mentioned. So,
just to kind of answer what your question was, Josh, talking about like people. I think your question was basically along the lines of, are people breaking lockdown rules, or do you think it's because of the weather and stuff, and is it bad up here?
Yeah.
The answer pretty much is yes. I don't know how bad, but the police have been putting out like public reports on social media and on their own websites and through the news and stuff, basically saying, can you just stay home, please? Stop being fucking stupid. Because they've had like, over one weekend, there was one constabulary, I think it was, like one.
I think that was I think it was the hottest weekend, and then that was around. I don't think it was definitely not Easter period, but it was some like in a line where it was Mother's Day, I believe. and people just gone out to Mother's Day or Father's Day. No, Father's Day is
Mhm,
actually on the 21st.
No, I'll say Mother's Day, right? But you're right. Like the last 9 weeks have been quite a lot of good weather for the UK, and in places that don't usually get a lot of good weather, for
No,
example,
absolutely.
Scotland,
Mm.
it's been great. But it's only been great in the sense that if you've got a garden or if you go to sit in your garden, but there's still people driving to like national parks and beauty spots and small rivers and
Yeah.
wee coastal towns, and even towns that are in like landlocked areas that have got beautiful lochs and rivers and waterfalls and the Campsie Glens and all these places. Like, again, just use common sense. The reason people are saying are the governmental guidelines are now strictly you should only be going out within 5 miles to a beauty spot is because people were driving half the country and just being assholes.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
If you stay somewhere near somewhere nice, fair enough, go, but be reasonable. Don't queue and then cause traffic and be a dick when you get there and leave rubbish. And
yeah, well, unfortunately, that's going to be the human nature where people just go,
you're right,
in a way, they ignore it, and it kind of sucks. And we're the ones that actually being responsible, just like doing what we've been told to do. We don't want to cause any trouble. We just want to make sure things are better for other people. But sadly, it's going to happen, you know, especially with the circumstances of political reasons or whether it is virus reasons. People are just going to ignore it, or people are just going to obey it. That's just the way of the system, you know.
I think it's just a minority, so we should be okay. Yeah. Sorry, Chris, on you go.
So in a way, it's like you can't control people. You can't like change people. You can only like put out the seeds of truth and knowledge and hope it sprouts something better for them. You can only try and put them on the path, but you can't physically be like, you can't just physically make them think certain ways.
No.
Just kind of take them as they are and hope your influence kind of changes it.
Oh, if my influence actually worked, I'll be quite surprised with you. But no, I don't want to be a huge influencer by anybody. You know, I want to make sure people are happy and, you know, sticking to what they've been told, and that's it. That's all I want people to do.
But that's a good influence, mate. That's a good influence.
Well, if you fuck with the law, then you get fucked, and that's it. Just like both of your dads. I don't know where the dad jokes are coming from, and this is actually one of the topics. Now we're going to actually change the mood a bit. Who the fuck actually started with the dad jokes?
Oh man,
I think probably isn't an Oren. Sorry, Chris, go.
I think the earliest, it's like in Scotland, it's just a thing to rip people's dad. Like there's like a joke in Scotland. It's in Northern Ireland as well for some reason. To claim your dad sells Avon, which is like a fucking door-to-door makeup brand, and there's even like it's like a rap about it and stuff. It's like an actual thing embedded in Scottish culture. But I think the reason it kind of caught on with me and Mike is because we're in America with parasitic ejaculation, and I don't know. Someone just said something about their dad selling Avon, and the American guys I thought it was amazing. Like they must have never heard someone's dad get slagged like that before. I know, like so I think John was. Oh, what?
Oh, Chris has ruined his.
There we go. There's a botch for this episode. Thank you, Chris. I was trying to stay very reliable, of not actually botching anything, and you're the one that's done it.
The cats were still there, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm not even using like a fucking laptop. I've got a cheap stand Mike gave me for my phone, and it's on top of a printer in my fucking laundry room. I've got this background on, so you can't see my fucking like towels and stuff.
If it makes you feel any better, this looks like it's meant to be a studio. In reality, this is the bottom of a garage with some acoustic panels on the wall.
It's all that.
So
perception.
That's it, perception 100. So America, your dad.
Yeah, so I think it was like Jono in the car, and Jono parasitic ejaculation. He drives us around on that tour, and he just thought it was amazing. He was kind of like egging us on just to keep doing it. So he just kind of got out of hand. I'm just saying, it's kind of
absolutely. It's fucking funny though.
Yeah, it's kind of got hands and I don't know, it just became a thing. It's fun. Sometimes you're feeling cathartic and you really hate something, so I'll just take out Mike's dad.
It's good, especially like it grew arms and legs. It went from like shit one-liners that aren't really that funny to like one-liners where it's like painting each other's dads in the most ridiculous light. And then you like, I think Chris, you started this sending photos of like outrageous things that have happened and attributing it to my dad.
Yeah.
And then it just grew for there. Like it's just been
ridiculous.
And there was also a Yarda Patter page on Facebook, which was just people putting loads of their suggestions in, and some of them are like really funny but incredibly twisted. The kind of things you probably shouldn't write online. I don't mean that as in like illegal, just
Yeah.
fucking
It's just
outrageous
dark.
for the sake of being outrageous. Exactly, right? And like proper shock humour. And some of them are just stupid. Like your dad gets sanctioned for the job centre for writing wrestler on his job search. Do you know what I mean? Like just stupid shit like that.
Yeah, it just meant to be so like fucking, it's just meant to be dumb, so dumb that it just makes no sense. It's just it's meant to lower your IQ reading it a little bit. Every sentence is a brain cell going.
It's like my colleague mentioned to me yesterday. He was like, "Have you got any dad jokes?" And I thought, for fuck's sake, out of all the people, I have to be asked if I got a dad jokes. And I thought, Google's the friend, but I thought I'd tell him, about how can you make holy water? And he said, "What? You boil it." Just like what my dad told me, and it was just like, what? And it's like, yeah, it's a fucking joke. So fuck you. So yeah.
So yeah, my work. It seems to be an endless supply of dad jokes. Like it seems to be a thing in life. He just exists to tell people like bad jokes, and he gets off on it so much. Like the more you kind of grow in his bad jokes, the more he's into it.
Oh man, it's good entertainment. It's all about. Oh man, the amount of times I've seen you two actually go backwards and forwards about your dad. So I'm like,
it just shows up. I could be bettering myself. I could be learning something. Like I have this device in my pocket that has infinite knowledge. I could Google anything I wanted. I could learn literally anything. But I'm using it. I'm using my fucking subscription to the internet. Called Mike's dad a prick for 40 minutes straight.
I'm quite sure when DARPANET was being created by the CIA and the FBI and the American authorities and NASA, etc., that's what they wanted. They just want to send your dad jokes to each other.
Yeah.
Houston, we have a problem. Chris's dad's here.
I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something, especially if Mike and Chris's dad's involved.
Jeez, man.
But yeah, anybody's got dad jokes, just leave it to Chris and Mike to actually write them down. Don't go into pro and think you two are going to be fucking funny or anything like that. Leave it to the pros, That's all it is.
Just because it's topical, a guy at my work who's obsessed with dad jokes told me this one. Right.
Yeah.
Why does no one in Antarctic have coronavirus? Because they're already isolated.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. They just put the word ice.
Wait a minute. Josh, you need to delete this right now. I'm not doing this interview anymore. I'm not sharing the time with him. I don't like him.
I am not going to stop this and actually restart this again.
No, I'm only kidding. I do like dad jokes. I've got a wee thing for them because, and it's probably the same reason why your colleague at work really likes them, Chris. Because see, when people don't like a joke, that makes it funnier to me.
I guess, right?
You know what I mean?
It's like a cracker joke. Apparently, cracker jokes exist to kind of unite in a room. They're meant to be so bad that everyone thinks they're bad. So everyone's like, "Oh, that was terrible." So everyone's on the same page.
Oh, that's clever. That's really nice. Yeah. That's sentiment building.
But again, like, there's something quite good about a non-offensive joke, because I mean, like, if you have like a really funny joke that's not like, it's really unexpected to hear like a non-offensive joke or non-dirty joke that's funny, right? So if you have one that's actually good, I know it's kind of funnier in a way.
Yeah, I really like stupid, nonsensical jokes that probably when you first hear the punt or the actual setup, you're like, this is going to be something offensive or really, really out of order, and then it's not. Those are good.
It's all the good stuff. It's all the humor, just to make everybody's day much better. And I know there's been tons of people just think it's fucking funny. It is funny, and it's actually just, as I said, just keep the humor going. And I like the fact that it's best to make everybody happy, especially through these tough times. Especially just taking the piss off of people's dads, and just that's the best way to do it. So amen to that. So aside from like telling dad jokes and everything, basically I just want to ask, what hobbies are you both into? We will ask Mike first because I know he's a father, so there's got to be some little bit of hobbies to actually have a bit of a mixture.
Competitive child throwing, and that's when you take your own child and throw them as far again. Recently I've taken up cycling again. I used to cycle a lot when I was younger. And I managed to get a bike recently. So, and that's been because Finlay, my wee stepson, he learnt to go his bike recently, and it was like it would be stupid not to take the advantage or to latch the opportunity, sorry, to get a bike and go out with him and then just enjoy it and go and exploring.
Sure. Yeah.
And like him and I, a few weeks ago, lockdown was still happening, social distancing, etc. Him and I went to cycle and it was really hot. And there's a really nice coffee store in Wishaw and they'd opened doing takeaway only, but they were still like serving you if you came in, you stood outside out the way and then came in and got your order away. So Finlay and I went and got a milkshake and we shared that together and then cycled home. And that was amazing.
Yeah.
Had a great time. Drunk a chocolate milkshake and it was really nice.
Yeah.
Went to cycle, can't go wrong. Hobbies wise, I don't know, like I like to try things, but very often I don't stick to them. I don't mean as I'm like, I'm going to try snowboarding and buy all the equipment and 2 days later I don't want to do it. I mean like wee DIY projects. I'm going to fix this thing in the house. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And unless it's something that needs to get fixed, I'm not good at sticking to it.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking myself to my guns. Obviously, guitar's a really big hobby for me. Music is, as well as being part professional.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that, I mean that's not my definition, but I would think by the definition of professional that counts. But I'm trying to learn how to record from home and kind of coming back and forth and buying little gadgets to try it out and help the process and work with what I've got rather than having to buy more stuff as well, and just setting us up while lockdown's going on so that if we go back into the studio, for example, the band in July, if I've got a good idea of how to record guitars and for them to sound okay, Stoney's done quite well, Craig knows what he's doing as well, but if the 3 years can combine it and record scratch tracks, for example, like demos, and they sound good and legible, then it's a step towards us even tracking guitars ourselves and saving us money for going to the studio and then sending them to get done with the drums or whatever.
There we go. Yeah.
Just doing that. Outside of that, eating and playing computer games. That's like me. And driving. I like driving, which sounds really weird. But
no, it's good.
I mean, I like a drive. I don't know anything about cars, but I enjoy driving. Good point. I enjoy long distance driving, which I think is probably quite strange. I like driving somewhere with a purpose. Like, when we go to gigs, the drive's half the fun for me. I just like driving through things. I don't know why. I really enjoy driving somewhere and stopping at a petrol station.
Do you always carry a blue shell with you, Chris?
Blue shell like in America.
No. Fuck's sake.
I think you get to see a lot of things when you go traveling and driving, like long terms, like you're talking about, Chris. I mean, I think we've seen every service station in the UK almost.
Yeah, near enough. Soon when we find one we've not been to before, it's like magical.
Oh man, that's like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, it's like the one we found.
The one I'm living that's got a service station. You have not been there.
Probably not. You're right.
There we go.
We stopped at services that looked like a petrol station on the outside when we walked past the petrol station, and it was like a roadside Nando's. I had fucking everything. It was insane. It blew my mind. That was the day we bought that Blue Agnes.
Oh, man.
That's right. We drove into the middle of London so I could buy a guitar. No, that was the red one. The blue one was Wales. The red one was London. The blue one was in Wales.
Oh, really?
Maybe I'm thinking of Wales then.
What was the story behind it?
Yeah, no, because we dropped Stony Martin off in the airport, then we drove back into London.
That would have been the red eye then, because we got stuck in the traffic, me, you, and Craig, on the way home. Remember, the motorway was like a stop, like a standstill, and we're all like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah, we listened to the Carly Jepsen album like 8 times.
Wasn't it? That's your fault. No one else's. Your terrible road music.
I'm just saying, it's a thing that happened. It's not bad.
I wasn't throwing shade. I was just telling you the facts.
It's true. That was my fault.
It's probably not the worst thing we've listened to, man. What was that power metal song that we fucking had on lots?
Oh my
Feel
God.
the Steel.
Shaft of Steel.
That was it. Shaft of Steel.
Oh God,
goodness.
Like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking terrible. It's like hard. It's hard to describe how bad it is. But there used to be this radio station called Team Rock Radio, which was kind of half decent. It'd play like cat house metal, like Soil and stuff like that. But every now and again, it'd have like an unsigned segment. And we're trying to think it was Bristol. The first time we played Bristol, this 6-minute long power metal song came on, and it was nonsense. It was like the same riff for 6 minutes, and it was like the cheesiest thing ever. And it just kept repeating and repeating and repeating. Then the lady announcing it when that band was called, she kind of like started it. She couldn't believe what the band was called. Like, that was called Shaft of Steel.
Jesus Christ.
I know. I think it's unintentional. Like, I don't think the band meant to be like this. But yeah.
Shaft of Steel.
God, that's incredible.
That's almost worse
6
like
minutes.
Steel Panther. Fucking no, that's fucking mediocre.
Yeah.
Shaft of Steel. Jesus.
Shaft of Steel. Multiple people sat down and agreed on that band name. I mean, like, we're a band called Party Cannon, right? But I mean, Shaft of Steel is like another level.
Hey, Man of War is the fucking worst one.
Also the worst band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think Man of War got their name from the jellyfish? Fun fact about Man of War jellyfish is there are like hundreds of jellyfish stuck here.
I think Man of War got their name from thinking they were men of war.
Do you think the jellyfish got their name from the band?
Yes, you're right.
I think Man of War came from somebody's dad and thought, right, we call it Man of War because why the fuck not?
Yeah, it's definitely
that was
band.
a founding member in Man of War. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey.
There's a guy out who was a founding member of Man of War, and his band is called Ross the Boss, and that's because that was his nickname.
Okay.
Ross the Boss.
Oh, was he in Man of War?
Yes, he was a founding
I
member
didn't realize
apparently.
I did not know it.
Ross the Boss. I feel really bad saying it, man, but what a crap name to perform under.
I know,
You know
but
what I
like,
mean?
it sticks in your mind. Like, I know who Ross the Boss is. I'm gonna remember that.
You didn't until I told you. So
I
it didn't stick in
pe-
your mind enough to research him.
That's a good point. But I mean, I guess it's kind of generational, right? Like, fucking, it just comes from that generational age, like hair metal, kind of be over the top and kind of big, like fool yourself in a way. Like,
it's all right
like,
for us to slag them now, but
Hmm.
back in the day, that was like expected. You had people like David Lee Roth kicking about, doing big fucking star jumps and splits in the air and doing a lot of cocaine. And
fucking Paul Young was in the band Mr. Big. Mr. Big.
I know.
What a fucking name. That's like,
So shit.
he's not just the big man. He's Mr. Big.
Fuck's sake.
I'm sure it's like a reference to something I don't get, but it's actually, on paper it sounds ridiculous.
I think the name comes from a film, but I can't remember what it was called.
I think Mr. Big was like a gangster or something, right? I might have made that up. But then again, he's called Mr. Big because he's the big man.
Yeah, it might be. But yeah,
You should know his name.
Yeah.
I'm just Googling it right now, but what I would say is more important than Mr. Big's name. If either of you haven't seen the film Big Man Japan, go and watch it.
Oh, yeah. I'll check that out.
It is meant to be a fly on the wall documentary about the lineage of people of this family from Japan, right? And this is the current Big Man Japan, and it's his job. He's been nationally appointed. That's his job to fight off big aliens and monsters that come to Japan.
Oh, for
right?
fuck's sake.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Everybody else in his family, like all his dad, his grandfather, they're all like super heralded. They're like national heroes and leaders. But he's like this mediocre shit, can't get things right, mopey shit dad. His daughter doesn't want to spend time with him. His wife's breaking up with him, and they're doing like a fly in the wall documentary following him about. And like half of it's just this normal guy walking about being filmed, getting slagged in the street half lanes and shouted at people and abused in restaurants. And the other half's him going and like getting charged up because he goes to an electrical plant and gets charged with electricity and becomes Big Man Japan. And it's this big animated version of him wearing like a nappy fighting big aliens, but the big aliens usually always batter him.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds incredible.
It's really, really good because it's actually quite heartfelt, but it's just bizarre.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
It's so good. Big Man Japan, it's called.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, before it got a bit ridiculous there, I was like, that sounds kind of like District 9, how District 9 was. It kind of starts like a fly on the wall documentary about aliens and stuff. But there's little guys in nappies, like, fucking going supersized Ultraman.
Oh, man. But yeah, just explain yourself for the rest of the hobbies while I take a leak, if you can, Chris. Sorry, man.
So good.
I'm just going to give you an answer to what Mr. Big came from, though. Mr. Big, the band takes its name from a song by Free, which it covered on the 1993 album Bump Ahead. There you go.
So, makes sense. So
Very
nothing to do with gangsters then. I just made that up.
I can understand why you would. I'm just glad you didn't go away. Oh, there was a character called Mr. Big in Sex and the City, which is another thing that came up on Google that I didn't need to know.
All right, fair enough. I've not watched that much Sex and the City, to be honest.
I've
See,
not
Ewan
really
from
watched really any. Sorry, you and what?
Ewan from Rick Savory, he's seen like every episode of Sex and the City. I don't know why. He has it all on DVD. He says he has this thing where if he watches like a series, he has to know how it ends. And he watched one episode, so he had to watch all the DVDs. And
I love Ewan.
I don't know, it was weird. Like, we're driving somewhere, and he just left all his Sex and the City DVDs in the car. And I was like, okay, that's it.
Where the fuck did these come from?
I don't know, like, who the fuck is it? Who does these belong to? I like ask people, like, has somebody like left Sex and the City's DVDs in my car because they're not my fucking, like, they're not mine, they're not my parents. I don't know. Like, if you like Sex and the City, it's fine. Like, there's probably shit I like, guys. Weird.
We're not shaming you, but who are they?
Where does these come from? Do you want them back?
Oh man, good lord! It's just I'm trying to think of like weird CDs we found in your car before and stuff. Like, did Joe not leave a lot of CDs in the back of your car at one point? A few years ago, there was like Metallica and stuff.
Yeah, it's like Dream Theater and Rock and Reel and stuff like that. The Rock and Reel CD is amazing. It's an Iron Maiden one.
Of course, you would love that, man. You're like, I'm not going to say you're a closeted Iron Maiden fan, but you don't really broadcast it despite how much you are actually into, or how much you know about the band. Maybe not so much of them anymore, I don't know.
Of all time.
That's fair enough.
First band I ever really got into. It's weird, like, if there's another band that sounds like Iron Maiden, I probably wouldn't give a shit about it. Like, I don't know, I had like a small power metal phase when I first got into metal, and even then I was like, I'd rather just listen to Iron Maiden.
That's fair enough. Like, I
think Iron Maiden
understand that.
I mean, I begrudge spending £75 a ticket on tickets to go see them, but I'm still gonna go.
Yeah, why not?
Mental.
You know.
Yeah, Josh, you asked about hobbies, and I don't think I have any. Outside of like playing bass and music and stuff, I think my main hobby was like going to the gym and watching films and stuff. Yes, and I guess since the lockdown's happened, I've had to kind of rethink that. So I took up running during the lockdown. I'm shit at running. Even though I've been doing it for 9 weeks, I got a bit better. But no, still fucking terrible. Other than that, I really enjoy cooking and just traveling, I guess. And I feel travel like profile. I know, right? Fucking.
I'm a serious guy, but I like to have fun.
I like to have fun.
I'm glad you got that reference, man.
I like to take care of myself. I also like to eat pizza sometimes.
Yes. So good.
Yeah, Josh. Like,
I Switch as well.
Yeah, like I think I know. I used to really, really like video games. It used to be like you can probably tell from the party game music because there's always like references to it and stuff. But when I was younger in high school and uni stuff, I quite religiously played like Nintendo games. I just felt like something about them is a bit different. I just like the story and I just liked it. But I got kind of back into video games recently just because I've had more time.
Yeah,
so I've been playing Dragon Quest 11. That was really good. I got Streets of Rage 4 because of the co-op mode and stuff on there. That was really good.
Is it good? Is that on the Switch?
Yeah, it's on Switch on the fucking everything, man.
I'm going to get it, and me and you're going to fight. Did I tell you we got Switches?
Oh.
Yeah, we're good, man. We can play online.
This is why I need to get a Switch. God damn it.
You do, Josh. I wasn't bothered about one, and then Nancy got one for her and the wee man and for the living room.
Oh, nice.
And I started playing it, and I'm like, this is fucking cool. Like, this is a great console.
Yeah.
I'm so used to playing games on like PC or whatever. It's like all about first-person shooter, mouse and keyboard, really serious, mega graphics, immersion. And then you play Nintendo, it's like, just have fun.
Yeah. I kind of like getting like first-person games that much. Like, there's some I really enjoy, but just first-person shooters in general is kind of. I feel like once you played one, you kind of play most of them.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, the very worst franchise for that in terms of computer games is FIFA.
It's absolute garbage. Like, I'm getting tired of playing that shit every time.
£60 a year for your character to have a different football strip on.
It's bullshit, mate.
Yeah, I kind of get an appeal of playing FIFA as like meant to be like a fun game to drink. You play and drink and stuff like before going out. Or that's like been my like impression of it. But
yeah, it can be.
Every year there's like no like update. It's just like the same game for fucking.
It's bullshit. It's so bad because it's just not just that. It's also so scripted as well. So it's just all monetized and it's all bullshit. But
That's it. You
I'm
need to
sitting here
buy.
ripping FIFA, but I do own every Mario Kart game, and there's like not that much difference between most of them.
I got Mario Kart 8. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's a remake of the one that's on the Wii U, and I've got both of them now.
Oh, mate. Nice.
That's got a lot of different levels in it. It's even got an Animal Crossing level in it, which
Yeah,
Nancy
it
got
does,
super
yeah.
excited about seeing. And turns out I'm much better at Mario Kart than her, despite having never owned a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
So,
If I can see the first Animal Crossing game, I imported it from GameCube because I was going to be released in the UK for a while.
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and there's no plans for it to be released in the UK, so I fucking imported it.
Here's a
You can't
question
do it.
for you, Chris. How do you feel
Okay.
about the Final Fantasy VII remake?
Not played it yet. I've not actually played the original one. I've seen people play it. I've not played it all through myself.
You've never
Well, I'm
played all
excited
of Final
about-
Fantasy VII.
Wow.
No, they're amazing. What I'm excited for is
End this right now. Sorry.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Did you ever play that on the GameCube?
I never had a GameCube, mate. I never did a Nintendo
Right.
consoles at all.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is really good. It's like a completely multiplayer that kind of hack and slash. It wasn't like turn-based like the other ones. It was like
Mhm.
board adventure and like an RPG, but it was based on a kind of co-op system. So you got your Game Boy Advance, and you can link it to your GameCube, and all like your like own screen that had your stats, your experience points and stuff on it.
Nice.
And doing like free friends was like go for the level and you'd all level up and get different skills and stuff. So it's just kind of playing like a normal RPG or like World of Warcraft stuff with your friends.
That
I was
sounds
thinking
really
of like I was looking for like co-op games. I posted on Facebook the other day. I was looking for co-op games to play with girlfriends and stuff because we've been playing like Streets for ages. And I was like, I wish they'd just remake Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles because that would be perfect right now.
It would
And
be.
as soon as I thought about it, there was a notification being like, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles remake coming from the Switch. Like, what the fuck? I
You
did
said
that
the
in my
other day,
brain.
actually. You're
Yeah,
telling us
I
about
can't
it.
believe that happened.
That's
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But,
Going about hobbies though, I was still like going to the gym and stuff. I know I like cooking. That's something I've been kind of working on in lockdown. I made tonkatsu pork and tofu recently. Like my girlfriend's a vegetarian, so I've been trying to take things I know how to make and find vegetarian versions for her.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good for health and for your mind as well because it's so much better. Instead of just eating like the stuff that just makes you feel ill in a long progress. Like people may not realize it, but it is very sickening sometimes how companies would just do stuff like that. But I'm not going to get into so negative again because we already had a negative topic, so we want to keep it positive. Yeah. But yeah, video games. You know, I've been playing it since I was like, I don't know about you two, but I've been playing it since I was like maybe 8. And the first ever console I had was basically, I think it was the Nintendo 64, and that was the best one ever by 2
Nice.
years. And
First one I had was a Mega Drive.
Your first console was a Mega Drive.
Yeah, I just remember
Did we
being
just
bored
become best friends?
Did we just become friends in the first place? I remember being friends.
It's
That's
huge now. It's a bigger status, you know.
Exactly. I mean, exactly the same. It was a Mega Drive was my first console. It was actually my dad's console, but I grew up playing it when he wasn't playing it. I remember one of the first games I remember playing on the Sega Mega Drive was Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker.
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Which
I remember playing that too. That was amazing.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like, what planet would you ever think, oh, there's some children, like very young children playing computer games. What game are they playing? Is it Micro Machines? Is it maybe Sonic? No, it's Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker. I've seen. But the Mega Drive was so
crazy, man.
Do you remember Nintendo Wii, right?
But
the best game for that was Wii Play, which had like pool and stuff on it, and just like random like point and click games. I had more fun playing that. Yeah, it was amazing. It was great for like parties and stuff. But I had more fun playing that than fucking Mario Galaxy, which I loved. But pool game.
Man, you can't hate Mario Galaxy. That's so cool.
No, I love Mario Galaxy. I'm just saying I had more fun playing a pool game for some reason.
Yeah, of course. But the next one I'm going to be wanting to get is Cyberpunk 2077. That's going to be spectacular.
That looks pretty pimping. You know what? My concern is there's so much hype about it that are we going to get what we're expecting? Is all I can feel in my guts.
I understand.
I really hope I'm wrong.
No, I get your point. It's like it's been delayed at least 3 times, I think, and it's just like they need to polish it. They want to make things as better, make things as smooth, and I get that.
I'm down for that.
But
I'd rather wait for a finished product than have one rushed out that's half done.
yeah,
I
exactly.
feel that's maybe, well, like Nintendo games, I feel they don't really pump out games that fast. But when they do, like, release games and take their time on it,
They do.
you don't need to get like fucking extra fucking DLC or anything to
No.
patch up an unfinished game.
No, and I'm sure most of the Nintendo games were kind of like they didn't need any extra content or DLCs or anything. They just needed the patience or whatever. There might be microcurrency, but there wasn't like any DLC as far as I can remember.
The Wii U and the Switch are the first ones out of DLC. Like, you can get like optional stuff like later on in the game's life cycle.
Yeah.
But when you first get a game, it's like a complete game. It's not like, I don't know, EA are really bad for rushing out games. It's not
Very,
like
very terrible.
Extreme arseholes.
very good.
I just hate EA with passion. You know, my frustration.
All they do
EA
is make bad games and buy over other fucking studios and kill them, and then kill projects and ruin them. Stop doing it.
They do, yeah. I mean, the last good gaming company I remember was Vision Games, and they did Dead Space. That was a great game, and EA just fucked it over, and then that was it. Vision were gone. It was so bad, man. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see what happens in the next generation of gaming. It will be very interesting to see how companies like the Nintendo, the Sony, the Microsoft are actually going to be able to step up. And I know PlayStation 5 was supposed to be having a review. I think it was supposed to be today, but that's been cancelled. So that's been postponed to like later this month or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same with Microsoft. I don't know what it is. I don't know what any news there would be for Nintendo. I think with the Switch at the moment it was kind of like the latest technology they've done. And
yeah, the Switch has sold so much at the moment. I don't think they're gonna shelve that anytime soon.
No, I don't think they will. I think they just need more games, and then it'll be very good just to hold it for another couple more years. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Nintendo are really clever about it, but I say clever, it's quite shit, but at the same time it is clever for their own business. Like, they always undersupply for the demand for their products, which just means that people go mental for them.
Absolutely.
Nancy and I obviously got, as I say, we got a Switch for the living room and stuff, but trying to find one at a reasonable price was nigh on impossible if it weren't for the fact that we know someone who works in a supermarket that's a close family member that got one. Then we never would have. And like, people selling them for like £400 and £500,
insane
350, 400 quid second hand. Crazy, man.
It's ridiculous, bro. And at the end of the day, I think it's great for companies to try and make a profit, definitely. But it's also at the same time very, very obscurity how people are not going to be able to pay like a brand new console or second-hand console for like £300 to £400 or whatever because it's second-hand. Where it's almost the same price with a new console as well. So it's ridiculous, you know. But I think at the end of the day, things will probably change. But the gaming industry is kind of like shifting to more of a prophecy and more of a profit type of industry than just like making people happy with the greatest games they can remember up to the next 10 years. You know, there are some games.
I feel like nostalgia has been a big thing in gaming recently.
Yeah.
Like Street Fighter 4 and things like that coming out.
Yeah.
And Sonic Mania was like a big one. I think that's probably going to be the next stage in gaming, is to kind of go backwards a bit.
It will. And we don't know how long it's going to be like this for, but hopefully something is going to change. But it's like you just mentioned, nostalgia. It's recently just came into play, and Crash Bandicoot was one of them. Spyro was one of them. Final Fantasy, as Mike just mentioned earlier, is the latest one that's just done for the nostalgia.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think, for me, I would love to see one of the Nintendo ones, like GoldenEye 007. That would be fucking...
Oh, yeah, man. Fucking GoldenEye N64. That was the best first-person shooter. I was just railing on first-person shooters earlier, but I fucking love that game. It's insane.
Hey, that's why I said Nintendo 64, you see. Yeah? And Nintendo 64 had Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, and all that stuff.
You both make great points, that lead into something I just want to say. I think you're right, and I think the big problem with the gaming market at the moment, you're talking about it all being about profits and next gen consoles and stuff. Everybody's focusing on the console and what it can do and how it compares to gaming PCs, and not about creating good games with good storylines and interesting content, and trying to make sure that you're not getting the most beautiful game that has a fucking story that lasts 3 hours. Like that's dog shit. Like, I don't want to pay £60 for the essentially an interactive film.
No.
That's my point on it. I want games that I can play and I can enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. And with the latest specs and the latest gear and equipment and everything with these consoles that companies are trying to do is try to beat other companies to make it more competitive and try to make more money, which is understandable. As far as I know, Sony is the one that's got the most money, and then Nintendo are kind of like third, and then Microsoft is kind of like second. For me, that's always going to be like that. But at the outcome of the result is how you're going to expect the fans to be happy to go and pay for your console that you're trying to make people be like, oh, I'm going to buy this one because it's got da-da-da-da-da, you know, and then...
Yeah.
It's tough moments.
I think video games is kind of like anything else. You get people, it's kind of tribalism now. Like, I'm always going to buy a Nintendo console no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if I think it looks bad. Even if I think like a PlayStation looks better. I'm always going to buy a Nintendo console. I know I've got quite an addictive personality, so I know if I limit myself just to buy Nintendo consoles, the games I want to play cannot come out sporadically. So I'm not going to just lose myself playing fucking a million versions of Zelda. But you get people people just buy Xbox no matter what. People buy all of them. Like, I've got friends that own all consoles at all times, no matter what.
Yeah, I used to. I used to. And I got rid of my Xbox, and that was years ago, but then I had the finance to purchase the PlayStation to make the money back from the Xbox I sold. But I think the next step is going to be for people thinking, what's the best solution? What are they really going to be sticking for? There's always a big fan base for certain companies that people are really loyal to. And like you mentioned, they're going to be sticking to their specific console all the time, or that company all the time. And that's always going to be the key factor every time. So then the loyal customer is going to come back. You know, you're going to get your money worth in that way, to a degree. But for question like PC gaming has got big expectations. And like, for example, digital content like from Steam and Unreal Engine or Unreal Games, you know, there's always big expectations. And with PC, you have to buy like certain equipment or upgrades if you're doing PC gaming, and that's like it's so much effort for some people.
Yeah,
where they
that's what puts me off playing PC games anyway. I'm just not smart enough to build a fucking gaming PC.
I don't think it's about being smart, but because it's all plug and play. But it's whether you can be fucking arsed spending about 6 hours every time something goes wrong to find out that something's been unplugged because of the fans on it or whatever. Like, that's the hassle. And unless you want to spend all that money on something you're maybe just going to use for games and you've got that money to throw away, it's not really accessible in the market.
No.
I'm lucky that when I upgraded my computer, I was thinking, cool, this is going to get used day to day for a lot of different things. I'm going to try and record on it, potentially video edit, so I'm as well getting something good.
Yeah.
And an upgrade that'll last a decent amount of time. I didn't buy like the top end products. I bought a good video card and a decent processor.
Yeah.
But that still cost me the best part of what, £900? It's a lot of money. You know what I mean? That's what, how many PlayStation 4s could I buy for that?
Yeah. That's the way I say it. It's like, it's probably more worth the money and time to build your own computer because you can keep like upgrading and stuff. But I could also just spend £250 on a Switch and things would just work straight off the bat.
That's it.
There's like pros and cons. Like, ideally, I'd love just to build a computer and run games on that. Like, once my house is finally built, I think my next purchase is going to be like a good computer so I can actually start tracking stuff again as well, recording wise. But yeah, I just don't think I'm passionate enough about gaming and mods and like frame rates and stuff to warrant putting in the time to build a computer to play games. I've got like, I think it's, like I said, it's probably the better use of your money, but arsenals versus convenience.
Oh, definitely.
You might find there's people out there that have got 400, 500 quid synced into an Xbox or a PlayStation 4 plus a load of games and then a £400 laptop when they could have bought a £700 PC and done both.
Yeah.
But it's about convenience and personal choice as well.
It is.
The great thing about consoles are plug it in the living room. If you buy a good one and you've got a good TV, like Levi's got the PlayStation Pro, he's got a HD,
There we go.
high dynamic range HDR, TV in 4K.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
of that looks fucking astounding, and it's better performance than my PC that I've spent probably more than he did on those two items on my computer. But a PC is not designed just to play games. It does lots of other things.
Yeah.
Consoles
Exactly.
are designed exactly to play games or watch a DVD when it's not using half the processing power. So
Yeah, totally. No,
a lot
it's,
to weigh up. A lot to weigh up.
I think I don't like about consoles now is there's too many versions of the one console. Like you say, you got the PlayStation Pro. I think when you're buying a Switch, you just get the Switch. I don't know. I don't know if you can buy like. I don't know the Switch Lite.
The Switch Lite.
Yep.
That's like a fundamental like actual difference. So what I'm talking about is you can buy like ones with bigger hard drives and stuff, and you just like cost more. I think like when you bought like the N64, it was just the same one. You could buy one in different colors and stuff. You got the Pikachu like edition one, but they all just did the same thing.
Yep.
But now it's like I don't even know what fucking PlayStation Pro is. What is that? Is that like a PS4 like the most memory?
Yeah.
It's not just got the most memory, but it can do 4K video in HDR, which is like mega quality, not only in terms of frames, but pixels, but like the color quality as well. High dynamic range means like really super deep blacks and really bright colors.
Why don't all the PS4s do that?
Because it's expensive to put them in place, and not everybody's got that kind of TV. So it's a tiered system, so that people who can't afford a £600 or £700 TV can still buy a PlayStation 4 and play the games.
Oh, my TV was about £1,500.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm coming to your house.
So basically, my TV is a Sony 62-inch.
Is that Bravia?
So, it was about £1,300.
This is like the most late 20s conversation ever. It's like, fucking hell, your TV's huge.
I'm going to fuck both of you with this comment. We get a Sony Bravia. It's a 42-inch TV.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right? Guess how much it cost?
It's about $350.
£72. Brand new.
Fucking hell.
Brand new.
This is the most Mike thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm like fucking Del Boy, ain't I, man? I can't help myself. This wasn't even me. I didn't even look for it. When Nancy still worked in Tesco, they had an X-Display Sony Bravia. It was £400 down to £200. That had been further reduced to £100.
Yeah.
And then Nancy got a staff discount off it, and it was like £72.
Right. Is that just because it's a display model?
Just because it's a display model, exactly. It's got a wee tiny bit of like colour on the bezel, the silver bezel around the screen, where it had a bit of glue on it.
Right.
And the screen itself doesn't have any screen tear or burn or anything. So
that does tend to happen, which is, a very decent profit to actually get a good sized TV for a good price as well.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's mad. That's like a ridiculous deal. We
didn't even need a TV. It was like do we buy it anyway? Yes.
Yeah, might as well. Like, you could just sell it on straight away.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
But we didn't.
No. But it's worth it. It's worth keeping there sometimes.
Totally.
Like my financial scheme, this TV is finishing in December. So I'm questioning what am I going to do with it, because I don't want to get rid of it, for example, and just get some multiple stuff and start doing things. Like I mentioned to Mike, Chris, that I was going to start doing like streaming. And, I need to get equipment and that. Like I've got a mic, it's decent. Camera's not too bad. It's just a capture card. So that's like, I'm doing the research on that. But like, let's say, for example, I've got good donations coming through, so I can use the income from the donations to provide better equipment. And then that way it could be a good progress. But yeah, it's a question of what am I going to do after the end of this year. I'll probably go start saving money for the housing like I always do and go with that. Like I've stopped buying merch now because it's just getting too expensive.
Oh man,
it's not just that, you have so much.
Yeah, I'm also running out of space
some of my old merch as well, so it's like I'm trying to get money back from it. And shout out to Matt because he's been selling most of my merch, and he's getting like I've got like about $350 from the old merch I've been selling. So he's pretty much my dealer. So so he's like, oh, if you give me any of your old merch, I'll give you money for it. I'm like, yeah, with my price and my idea, So
yeah, fucking.
Just go to his house with 2 wheelbarrows worth. There you go, guys.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. And then that's going for housing, like I want to do. So, but
you buy a house, or you saving up for like
So my profit of what I'm going to do with the house is due to do shared ownership scheme. I think I mentioned
Okay.
this to you before, Chris, that it was going to be for shared ownership, and it's basically just paying about, let's say, a 3 or 2 bedroom house somewhere where nearly my family lives. It's about almost about 400 to 500 a month. So it's kind of like working around there, which is not bad actually, considering this studio is about 520. It's fucking.
Oh, it's a studio. Fucking hell, man. Yeah, that's for London. That's not too bad though, man.
It's not London. This is Henley
Oh,
on
yeah,
Thames.
it's
So it's basically outside
right,
London
makes
region, about
Yeah.
an hour and a half area, but it's Oxfordshire. So Oxfordshire is kind of like expensive.
Yeah.
Still a nice area.
No, it's bullshit. I
That's
mean,
good.
I was thinking about living up north, but it's like,
Well, just
dunno.
saying, my hometown was in the paper not long ago for being the cheapest place in the UK for housing.
Wow. Okay. I will
Yeah,
probably have to think
it is. Like,
moving to Scotland.
I bought a house just for lockdown, but it was like a new
Paid
build.
in
So it's
cash.
again, like, it was it was like a new build, so it wasn't quite finished yet. And the lockdown went down, so all the construction sites stopped, so it's been delayed. But I did that through the first home fund. Since it's my first housing property, and they pay like, I don't know, what, 25% of the overall price or something like that.
Yeah,
20%
the
maybe.
overall price, and then most of it will go to mortgage.
Yeah.
So it's like
So-
I will have to pay, depending on the owner and depends on the profit. Like I'll pay about 25% of the ownership, and then the rest of it after that is going to go straight to mortgage, which it has to happen if you're still going to rely on the housing that you want to stay. And then my plan is after all that housing has been sold, like I want to make money back, and then that way to do a bit of like real estate business. Yeah. Try to get another housing, then try to do that again, and then another housing. You know, it's just trying to play smart and actually get good money at the end of retiring. You know, and that would be quite interesting to see how that goes.
That's kind of what my parents did. Then they moved here and they opened like a veterinary surgeon or vets. Then while doing that, when they sold the business off, they used that money to buy. They retired early when they bought houses, places, and now they're just getting landlords. So that's how they're paying for retirement.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that goes for me. But yeah, no, that would be very interesting to see if I actually start living where Mike is living, and then be like, "Hey, Mike,
Yeah,
remember that idea?" You know, and be like, "Yeah, fuck off, mate. Okay." So you know,
I've got a studio garage you could move into. It's only $350 a month plus bills.
hey, that's not bad.
Which was not too bad as well, man.
Hey,
No, it's not too
yeah.
bad.
I mean,
Kinda
easy
coming up
money
with it,
for good money. You know, good money for business, and then you can enjoy Mike's guitar sessions. You know, for free. So we're pretty much going to be at the end of this podcast, I think, unless anybody
man.
else has
Been
got
good.
anything to say. It's up to them.
Thanks for having us.
No, it's
Yeah,
not a
it's been
problem.
fun. Been fun, man.
Happy to have you guys in. You know, we've both been friends for like many years. I know like Snotty and Stony and you know, Martin as well. So I love you all the same amount. You know, so it's
Yeah,
all,
we
it's
all
all
love you
good.
the same
It's all good. But yeah, no, it's fantastic to have you two in. I definitely wanted you two in the beginning, and it's great to have you both boys in. I'm really proud. I still don't know what I'm going to do about this Scotland trip I was going to do, because I don't know if Chris told you, Mike, but I was going to try to come to Scotland one time because it was to do the mountain climbing for Scotland. And there was a UK challenge where you have to go for every region of the highest mountain for the UK. So I've done Wales and I've done like the England side, which was like near Cumbria. But now I want to try to get to the Scotland one, which obviously we know which one is the highest mountain.
Wishy Hill.
Yeah.
Arthur Seat.
Yeah. It's
Chrissy's dad's arse.
Yeah, huge
very humongous.
crevice.
Very, very big, humongous ass that's got cocaine all over it. Fucking hell.
Wow. Oh man.
But yeah, I'm definitely trying to keep in touch with the person who was actually organizing it. And if anything happens, I will definitely be contacting you both and be like, hey, I'm coming. I definitely would
Yeah,
like to
no,
see
definitely, man.
No, for
Definitely.
sure.
There's a
Let us know. We
go
can go
back
for
to
dinner or
places we can show
something.
you.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know for sure. But it's like the sooner this whole thing gets out of the way, and the sooner he can make the money to make this plan work, then it will happen. Unless I just go commando and just do it myself, and I'll be like, yeah, that's it. I'm on my own.
Going
Well,
commando means something different in Scotland.
Yeah.
Josh, I don't know if you know that.
No.
Going commando means going out with no underwear on, but still wearing your trousers. over your shirt.
I definitely know the definition. I just wanted to get your answer.
You say underwear.
Free balling.
Underwear, boxers, pants. It's all the same.
Budgie smugglers. A thong.
Budgie smugglers. Never heard of that before. Nappies.
Chrissy's dad wears nappies.
Is it fucking what was that guy you talking about? Not Mr. Big.
Ten of Men. Your dad's favourite brand.
No, what was that fucking film you were talking about earlier?
Big Man Japan.
That's the one. Particularly about him.
You need to see it. I implore you both, go and find it online. I'm sure there's links to it on like YouTube in 10-minute segments, and it's like HD. So you'll find it. There's another couple of crazy Japanese films that I could recommend that are just as bizarre.
Yeah.
They're not obscene. You could watch them with a family, but they just don't make any sense. For example, Calamari Wrestler. And it's a guy who's a wrestler whose secret power is to turn into a calamari and fight. And one of his opponents becomes something else and beats him, and he has to go through all this rigorous training. And it's like this really heartfelt story about this guy struggling through the ranks and breaking through and believing in himself so he can become the calamari wrestler again. And there's another one that's like a corporate espionage thriller called Executive Koala. And it's about a koala that runs a business, and his business partner is a rabbit. And it's two men essentially in fursuits wearing like normal suits over the top of it. But everybody's acting as if it's people, like just dead normal. It's bizarre. Good. Fun.
Yep. Some good films. Good film watching there.
Good films and good suggestions.
My top 3 for these. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's pretty much going to be the end of this podcast. But what I like to always do on my podcast is to do shout outs for companies, for bands, for label distributions, for clothing distributions, for anybody that needs recommendations, whether you're in the band, whether you're into, let's just say, mixing companies, or looking for the new albums to do. I definitely would suggest listening to my podcast so you can get an idea of which bands you can listen to, and et cetera. So, boys, depending which one of you want to go, I would let you both have the opportunity to make a point of, as I mentioned, what guys can recommend or listen to or follow by any means necessary, that needs to support, that needs that income to actually support the small businesses that we all need to do. Instead of supporting the big corporation companies and, and avoiding bands like Manowar and everything.
Fuck Manowar.
Nobody likes Manowar.
My shout out should be Ormsby Guitars, quite obviously.
Yeah.
Big love to them. Big love to Perry and the
Absolutely.
guys. To Kyle and Derek at Rev as well. Again, great company. Go check out their amplifiers and their pedals. Incredible. To Daniel at Dead World Audio, who I bought a modified amp and pedal from. And one of his preamps. He gave me a prototype to try out, which is fucking brilliant. I can't wait to get recording it just to see how violent it actually sounds when it's mic'd up properly. It's here and it's just fucking unbelievably loud.
Nice.
This is like a acoustic board panel, an isolation panel, and I've had it basically like a microphone on the cabinet and then it blocked in so that it's not ruining my eardrums when I've got it turned up. Drawn a blank for everybody else. DBK Studios for Nihilistic Mixes as well. Zach Phalloplasty. If there's anybody else I'm forgetting, I feel really sorry. I'm a terrible person.
Pins and Knuckles clothing.
Pins and Knuckles. They're
best printing in the UK, man.
Absolutely. Carlos at Gorehouse, thanks again for looking after us. Just re-signed a new contract actually.
Very nice.
Back with them again for a few years, which is great. The terms were fantastic.
Yeah. The new deal we got with Carlos is definitely going to help.
it's fucking great because he's always really supported us as well. It's good to see a label want to invest in their bands as well. A great amount of respect for him, and looking forward to working with him in the future again and see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, be right. Any shout-outs I have, I'd say Wycon Guitars. I just got endorsed by them as like a handmade custom company in the UK. That'll be good. Sound Lodge Studios in Germany. Shout out to Jorg.
Big York.
Audio Lounge in Glasgow. If you ever need a recording in Glasgow,
George.
you guys go to. Who else? Yeah, band-wise, I'd say like Stillbirth and Vigilance Figurant just released new albums, so based on Torture Killings. Check them out.
Yep.
Someone else released a fucking album as well. I can't remember what it was. I feel so bad about this. I think I pre-ordered it though. Yeah. Drawing a blank. Fucking Three Sign Hours released an album, but I don't need my fucking recommendation. Yeah, check out some bands. Bands are good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to do a couple of shout-outs for companies like Pins and Knuckles, like I just mentioned earlier. They definitely are a good clothing company in the UK. Brutal Minds and Fat Tabs in Indonesia. They do fucking awesome merchandise, and especially like as Chris and you, Mike, as well just mentioned, they've been licensed to do like shorts on a promotion at the moment. So go and buy them if you are a fan of shorts during the summer period.
Pantaloons.
Pantaloons. God damn it. There was a recommendation I was going to list as well. Trying to find the clothing company.
Derek Tickle still owes us money.
He does. Got it in price.
Oh boy!
Just in case you forgot. A big shout out to Levi as well, my partner in crime on the Guitar Souls.
Yeah, absolutely. Partner in crime, my friend. Partner in crime. There's a company called Huffy Asbestos.
Huffy Asbestos Records, yeah.
Calvin and Nate, we just did an interview with them as well. Good guys.
Very
They've
nice.
been trying to license stuff from us for ages, but I'm fucking terrible at mentioning back.
I'm sorry. There was they just done a pre-order scheme for flags,
Nice.
along with Parastatic Ejaculation, Magakeen, Swine Overlord, Steelbirth is on there as well. Another band called Crepitation is on there as well. Shout out to Crepitation.
Not
Boys.
those boys.
The
Not
boys.
them.
There's another one called Distant from the Netherlands. They're fucking cool as well.
Oh, yeah, we played with Distant at Fallen Brawl, I think.
Yeah, Following the Brawl, yeah, back in last year. Another companies like for merchandise is Vizient Merch, which is down in the Euros as well. The Messiah Records, that's held in Portugal. Reality Fade Records, they're a very good company, and they got quite a range of variety of merch. Rising Merch is on there as well, and you know there's some good merchandise companies. So if anybody wants to listen or not listen, actually, I don't know why I just said bands. Just for clothing, just actually purchase some merchandise. Go for those. For band wise, firstly, it's definitely to you boys, Pie Cannon, because you guys are fucking awesome and you guys have been in my life. Oh, stop it, you! And Chris is like, fucking, you should have said that, you know. But no, seriously, I've been a fan of you guys since the first EP, Pie in Half, actually came out. And this was back in probably 2013, if I remember, Chris. So, yeah.
First in 2013.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's been 7 years, man.
Fun fact, you were into the band before I was.
Yeah, you're into the band before you joined.
That's actually true. But no, Mike is still part of the band, and he definitely still gets the same love as the rest of you boys do as well. You know. Hey. So, yeah, shout out to Steelbirth. They just had a new single out called, I don't know if I can pronounce it right, Pananium. It's actually a really good track. It's quite heavy. There were some people speculating, thinking it was not going to be heavy. It was going to be the same as like Volvodinho did with their latest album. And I kind of disagree. I think Steelbirth are going to be much brutal. You just have to be patient and wait for the album to come out. Then you can actually get your opinion out afterwards. You know.
Lucas let me hear a few tracks from the album, and I think it's the best stuff they've done. It's definitely the heaviest, and yeah, no, it's fucking great. The songs are amazing.
Fucking hell, he's giving you some good stuff. I've been waiting for it. Fucking hell. he promised me to put some tracks on there. I was like, yeah, I'll give some tracks, no worries to review it. And it's like, yeah, thanks, Lucas. Shout out to Lucas for being an asshole, but I love you really.
Death Feast, when he put on there, that was like one of the best gigs I've ever played.
Death Feast is definitely.
Yeah, he's the man. He is very underrated.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to go to Germany and you want to go to a festival, definitely Death Feast Open Air is a great festival to go to, especially a 3 to 4 day madness. It's good to mingle up with people in Europe. Like I've got friends in Europe and they actually go to this festival alone and it's really fantastic. Yep. And I think the European festivals have got great scenery compared to UK.
Oh yeah, it's always the best.
I don't discriminate the UK festivals or anything like that. Like we have got Snuffest, we've got UK Slam Fest, we've got Following the Brawl as well. They're all fantastic festivals, but we need more, in my opinion, you know. And we did have Death to Cancer by Joseph Mitchell. Shout to Joe. Hopefully the festival, the one-day show festival comes back very soon. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. But yeah, shout out to Ingested, the boys in Manchester. They just done a new track called Dead Separate Forms not long ago, and it's fucking cool. I can't wait for the new album to come out very soon. Shout out to Disentombed as well, Defeat Sanity, Cerebral Implication as well. The list can go on and on and on, but I'm not going to go on and on and on because there's more list into it. In my last episode where I did a big list that was what was it? It was being signed by bands from Reality Fade Records, and there's a huge list, and there's a huge list from other suggestions from other episodes. So if you are watching this episode, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This is probably the longest podcast episode I've done. It's fucking
good,
awesome,
man.
and I fucking love you boys to keep me entertained and keep me sane, you know, with this whole episode that we've done. But honestly, this is probably the longest one we've done. So if nobody has watched any other podcast sessions, please, by any means, go and watch the other ones. There were some great stories, which we will last this topic with a question before we go. Shout out to you boys. So thank you for coming on here. It really means a lot, and putting your time into it as well. It really means a lot as well, especially being in a band as well. It's fucking awesome. For this last question before we actually go and leave the final fake it of the words, what's actually happening with PyCan within next year, for example? Is there going to be some new album material, or is it just going to be like we're going to stay quiet with some one-off shows here and there, and then, you know, we'll wait until like maybe the year after we can release some new music?
Oh no. We're starting next year by recording new album, European tour, American tour, shitload of UK stuff. We're gonna try hit next year, make up for this year.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
New album coming.
That's the idea.
Yeah. New album next year. Guarantee it.
There we go. You've heard from
the
Chris.
Working title for the album is Chrissy's Da has a gammy leg.
Based on reality.
Fact.
I'm surprised we haven't insulted Mike's dad yet. You know, we haven't really done much about it yet.
My dad's a cunt. There's the end of it.
Hey, you can't get away with that easy, Mike. Fucking hell. Chris, say something about Mike's dad for once, please.
You can't insult Mike's dad. Like, it's just, he's such an easy target.
I've accepted
it.
It's just such a shame.
I would love to say something about my dad. Thanks for running away in my life, you cunt. Don't come back again.
Wow. I took a twist.
That's 1-0 to you, Josh, man. That's the fucking best.
Yeah, you 1-0 everyone.
But yeah, honestly, my final focus of the words is, and this might be a little bit negative, but everybody that's suffering in America, my condolences if you've lost your family, loved ones, and friends. It means a lot that you guys are protesting with the Black Lives Matter. I think, in my opinion, all lives do matter, but Black lives do matter more because of the history they had in the past compared to us white Caucasian folks or whatever the case may be. I hope in the future America do stand strong, and I hope America does have its justice when it comes to racial reasons, racial slurs, racial protocols. I think we need to make sure that we support each other at this time as well, especially with this coronavirus is still around. I think it's very interesting, like Mike mentioned earlier in this podcast, how all of a sudden with this podcast, protesting is going around, nothing is really happening with this virus situation in America. And I think people are starting to say, fuck this. We want to give our voices heard, and we're frustrated. We're tired, just the same as us. You know, we're all frustrated. We're all tired. We all want things back to normal. We all want things to be nice and chilled again. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen until for quite a while. And it sucks. But we have to stay strong. We have to stay patient, like I just said. And we just have to support each other. That's the main key factor. We just have to do that. If we do that, then everyone actually stays with us to the end of the tunnel. And that's going to be the best thing to do. So, yeah, boys, if you both got anything to say, we will wrap this up.
Thanks for having us, man. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Had fun.
Hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, definitely. All right, everybody, thank you very much for watching this podcast. Whether it's been the longest one or not, I don't know. But yeah,
is,
please, by any means, listen to the other podcasters that's going to be coming around very soon. The notified that this Saturday's podcast has been rescheduled to Monday now, simply because I lost my words there. I'm going blank now. Fucking hell. The band member who I'm interviewing, he's having a band rehearsal. So
it's pretty good. He's getting back to it.
He's rescheduling it onto Monday. So that's completely fine. So I'm doing a double duty on Monday. Yay! So that's fucking sucks. But anyway, thank you. Yeah, it would be fucking cool. But yeah, this one's been a fucking blast. So I'm going to take a couple of days off now. So, that's fucking great. So I can actually have a break on the weekend. That's fun. Wow. Woo! Whoop, whoop. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Subscribe if you're new. If you want to follow my Facebook page, leave a like on there. Please do. It means a lot. You can leave a follow on my Instagram page by Autistic Dr. Slammer. You can do the same with Pie Cannon by Pie Cannon Official on Instagram as well. You can follow Pie Cannon on Facebook. Yeah, they got all the content. They got all the stuff to stay in tune as well by any means. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Stay tuned to Monday. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.